Hi friends, and welcome to the video. I'm Olivia, and if you've never seen my face before, I am a fragrance enthusiast, reviewer, whatever you'd like to call me, and if you have seen my face before, welcome back, my friends. I'm excited because today we are going to be continuing our summer series where I'm going to be talking about fragrances appropriate for summer of every category. And today's category, we are going to be talking about citrus fragrances that are going to be good for summer. Now, I know that there's a lot of people out there that feel like citrus fragrances smell like cleaner. I have a citrus fragrance for absolutely everybody, so if you're a citrus lover or if you are not a citrus believer, I might be able to make one out of you today, so let's get started. Today I'm going to start off with quite an expensive fragrance, but this is the longest lasting citrusy fragrance that I have in my collection. Citrus tends to be something that dissipates really quickly. I know a lot of people will say they don't last, they don't last, they don't last, so I wanted to start right off the gate with one. Although it's very expensive, it lasts an eternity and you don't need to use a lot of that, and that is Valleya by Perfumes de Marly. So in the beginning, you get a fresh blast of bergamot that feels a little bit sparkling and then is sweetened up with a delicate white peach. And it's not too syrupy, but then in comes the orange blossom, and it's not heady, it's not sharp and piercing like a lot of white florals, it's delicately balanced. So you have this sweetness, you have this floral, you have a bright, sparkling, almost champagne-like citrus in the beginning, but then in the dry down, you have this musky, warm vanilla, and it lasts an eternity. I wore this to the movies one time, and we went about 7 p.m. I sprayed it on my clothes, and the next day I woke up, I went throughout my day, and about 4 p.m. the next day, I went to wash my shirt that this was on, that I had worn to the movies, and it was still on there. I think of this scent as ethereal. This is something that a bride would wear. It's very clean smelling, it's very, very feminine, very sophisticated, and I will say, this bears a slight resemblance of the citruses that you find in Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. Over the years, I used to wear it and I loved it, but it is a little synthetic and a little bit scratchy, and it also has a bit of a masculinity to it. So the citruses in that are similar to this, although I wouldn't say that they're dupes whatsoever because this is much more feminine and complex. So although it is very expensive, you wouldn't need to use a whole lot of it. So that is Valleya by Perfumes de Marly. Next is a fragrance that I've talked about very frequently on this channel, but I think that it deserves all the shine because this is London Funk by Wilhelm. And I've said in the past that this smells like a fresh bud of marijuana. So this also has bergamot, so you're getting a very, very tart citrus. This isn't like an effervescent sparkling. That is very acidic, very sharp, but not in a way that's piercing and obnoxious. It's refreshing and very tangy. It almost like makes your face pucker. And this has the note of basil along with a juniper and a mate, and when you combine these, that's what you're getting, almost an herbally, a slightly earthy marijuana type smell to it. You have an ambergris in the dry down that gives this a little hint of saltiness, but as this dries down, this is aromatic and it's a little bit masculine. So if you're looking for something citrusy that is bright and refreshing, herbal, aromatic, but a slight bit masculine, this would be the perfect one, and this lasts a very long time as well. So again, more on the pricey side, but 1000% worth the money because of the unique scent profile and the longevity for a citrus fragrance. That is London Funk by Wilhelm. Next is going to be a fragrance for those of you who want something ultra natural smelling that's going to work a little bit like aromatherapy, and that is none other than Heart from the aroma collection of Veronique Gabai. So in this, you are getting a load of citruses. You're getting bergamot, and if you've ever smelled bergamot on its own, it smells a little bit like lemon and lime combined with a little bit of lavender. It has almost an herbally sort of touch to it. And you also have grapefruit and lemon. So you're getting a load of natural smelling citruses in the beginning, along with a jasmine. And this jasmine is not thick, it is not heavy, it is very airy, it's very sheer and watery. And these fragrances were actually created to be wearable aromatherapy. So if you like something that is a little bit more intrinsic in nature, you don't want to smell perfumey, this one is going to be perfect for you. So So that is called Heart by Veronique Gabai in their aroma line. Next is going to be a citrus for those of you who like something that is a little bit on the sweet and whimsical side, and that is Sunflower Pop from Floral Street. So the citruses that you're getting in this is mandarin orange and bergamot, but those are amplified with the note of passion fruit and bellinis. So you're getting this sweet, fizzy, fruity champagne sort of feel. It also has orris that gives it the slightest bit of powderiness that just kind of rounds it off so that way it doesn't feel too sharp from the florals. And on the dry down, you're getting this sweet honeyed amber. So this is a very multifaceted fragrance. In the beginning, you think you understand what this is all about. It feels like a straightforward citrus sweet fragrance, but as it dries down, you get those notes of amber and honey, and it feels very luxe. So this one feels very fun, it feels very playful and whimsical, but then it dries down to have a little bit of intrigue. So if you're looking for something that has a bit of character, I would try out Sunflower Pop from Floral Street. Now, if you're looking for a citrus that has a little bit of a gourmand element to it, along with a little bit of a floral element, I would try 441 by Noteworthy. So along with Italian citrus, this has lemon blossom, along with a caramelized vanilla and a little bit of musk. So there is a warm sort of quality coming from this fragrance, but it is not super gourmand. Last week I talked about gourmand fragrances and I talked about Bake from Acro, and that has more of a custardy feel. This is much more palatable, much more tampered down, but you're getting a little bit of that caramelized vanilla that gives this a warming, sweet quality while still having that lemon blossom that's giving a little bit of a fresh floral effect. So this has nothing to do with Bake, this has nothing to do with Lyra. So if you're thinking of those really sweet gourmand citrus fragrances, think much more tampered down, more floral, and a little bit more fresh with that sweet vanilla. That is 441 from Noteworthy. Next has to be my personal favorite of the entire group, and that is Red Dakota from Dead Cool. This has the note of Clementine. And you know when you peel a cutie and you get the oil from the peel on your hands, and it has a sweet yet very bright and aromatic sort of quality to it? It is photorealistic in the beginning. So this truly smells like a clementine. But this has a little bit of gardenia. And if you're afraid of gardenia, do not worry about the gardenia in this. It is done very well. It just adds a slightly sweet component, a little bit of a floral aspect, but it is definitely well blended. And then you've got an amber dry down. So this takes on a very different character as you wear it. In the beginning, again, this feels very straightforward citrus, almost borderline cleaner, I will say it. But as this dries down, you get this warmth, you get this amberiness that is so intoxicating. So if you are going to try anything on this list, I highly recommend that you give this one a shot. I know that they have sample sizes, they have travel sizes, and they also have car fresheners. If you don't really want to spend the money and you just want to try it out in your car, low stakes, you don't have to wear it on your body, I would try this out because this is the most beautiful clementine fragrance I have in my collection. And if you're looking for something that is not generic whatsoever, you want something that's going to stand alone and you are going to smell like absolutely no one else in the room, I would try Isola Blue from Roja Perfumes. So in the beginning, you get a blast of different citruses along with some aromatic notes. So you're getting bergamot, lemon, lime, but you're also getting lavender and thyme that give it a very relaxing, almost spa-like sort of quality. You also have a load of florals. So you have orange blossom, you have lily, which is a little bit more aquatic smelling, and you have jasmine. And the jasmine in this is definitely not a sharp jasmine by any means. It's very well blended, but this also has a distinct, almost grassy-like note that's enhanced with a bit of pink pepper to give it a little bit of spiciness, and a mate that is going to give this a calm herbal touch. This is an aromatic citrus with a lot of warmth on the dry down, but this is an incredibly unique fragrance. So if this seems interesting to you, I would most definitely tell you to try a sample because this is an incredibly expensive fragrance. I think it's very unique. I think it's worth the price, but you have to think, does this fit in your budget? If you're a collector like me, it absolutely fits. Next is from the house of Chris Collins, and this one is going to lean on the slight bit more masculine side. This is called Citrus Grandis, and you have a load of different citruses in the beginning. You have citron, you have yuzu, and you have pomelo, along with a verbena that gives this almost a neroli type touch without being super sharp like neroli. So it gives it a floral, slightly soapy green quality. But where it gets interesting is in the base notes. So you have a vetiver that comes off as a little bit dry and hay-like, but very clean smelling, along with an elemi resinous quality, some incense, and a beautiful musk. So this to me is slightly masculine, very fresh. It reminds me almost of the masculine version of Love Don't Be Shy. So if that one was really, really sweet on you and it wasn't for you, I would try something like this because they have similar qualities. That is Citrus Grandis by Chris Collins. Now, if you want a citrus that is sugary, sugary sweet, almost like candy, I would go with Sophia Isabel by Define Me. Now, this is a sugared mandarin orange along with black currant that gives it a little bit of syrupiness. And although this has florals, to me, this just smells like a candied orange. And it is sugary, sugary sweet and very playful and very fun while still remaining fresh because of the citrus. And even if you're not a big fan of sugary sweet scents, I would still say try this because with citrus fragrances, when you add sweetness to it, there's still that tart quality that makes it very refreshing. This is very whimsical, it's very girly, it's a little bit young smelling, but it's very, very fun on a hot, hot day. And I would wear this to brunch or anytime I want to wear like hot pink or bright yellow, I'm feeling playful, this would be the perfect thing. So that is Sophia Isabel by Define Me. Now, if you're looking for a citrus that is a little bit dark and moody and has some character to it, I would try Duel from Andrea Maack. This is a lemon ginger fragrance. So you're getting a little bit of spiciness and a bit of tanginess from that ginger as well, along with a pink pepper that give it a little bit of spicy kick. But on the dry down, you're getting a warm amber along with a dry, earthy, woody cedar. This starts off refreshing, but then it takes you in a completely different direction with the dry down being very woody and a little bit mysterious. This smells like something that a mystical fairy enchanting you into the garden would wear. One that I've talked about many times on this channel, but I love it and I think it deserves all the talk, is Lime Sands from Skylar. This is a salted coconut lime drink on the beach. It is chilled, it is very refreshing, but then in the background you have some musk that gives this a very clean laundry type of scent. So imagine you have a thick, plush, clean beach towel and you're sitting on a resort in the sun, sipping on a cold coconut margarita with a bunch of lime and a salted rim. This is very fun. This is going to be incredible for vacations, for a day out on the beach. They don't tend to last a super long time, but I like to use this as a refresher because I do find that the scent profile of this is very, very unique. I don't have anything like this, so I will put up with the poor longevity. Now, if you're looking for a citrus that is earthy and it doesn't have much sweetness, this is newer to my collection, and this is from the brand J.U.S, and this is called Spritzlove. So in this you have petitgrain that's giving it a leafy herbal green element along with a bitter orange. So you're not getting something sweet, you're getting something bitter and tangy, along with a dry earthy vetiver and a very light wearable oud. So oud can tend to be very thick and heavy, but in this it almost gives like a gin and tonic type quality. It is a woody citrus. So if you're looking for something that smells a little bit more natural, very, very easygoing, yet refreshing and not sweet, that is Spritzlove by J.U.S. Next, if you're looking for something affordable, this is from the brand Le Monde Gourmand, and you can find this at Urban Outfitters. These are very affordable. They're about $25, and this is called Clementine Bisous. Before, when I talked about Red Dakota smelling like the skin of a clementine, this is the actual meat, the actual pulp of a clementine. So this, in contrast, is much sweeter, and it's accompanied by frangipanis, beautiful yellow and pink tropical florals that give it a buttery creaminess, along with a soft, delicate sandalwood. So this is refreshing, but also sweet and a little bit floral, but don't think floral in the traditional sense, think much more tropical. The longevity of these are not great, but because they're $25 and they're small, you can chuck them in your bag and use this as a refresher on a hot day. Another one that falls in the more masculine masculine category is by a men's grooming company called Huron, and this is called Original Citrus and Eucalyptus. The citruses in this is accompanied with more aromatic qualities. So we have mint and eucalyptus that offer a very cooling touch. You have some woods, you have oak moss. So this is a light, refreshing, masculine scent for summer. So that is Original Citrus and Eucalyptus by Huron. One that I've really been enjoying lately is by the brand Piper and Perro, and this is called Arid. So in this is a blood orange and dry vetiver type fragrance. This has suede and sandalwood in the base. So it starts off dry, refreshing, tangy, but then as it dries down, it has a little bit of an animalic type quality to it while still feeling very velvety and dry at the same time. It doesn't feel creamy because sometimes with the note of sandalwood, it can feel a little bit lactonic. But I think Arid is the perfect name because this almost feels like the calm in a dry desert. So if you can imagine that translated into a citrus fragrance, that's what you're going to get from this. That is Arid from Piper and Perro. Another affordable option that might be a little bit difficult to find, but if you're ever in discount stores like TJ Maxx, Marshalls, keep your eye out for this one. This is Calvin Klein Women. In particular, I have the Eau de Toilette version here, and this is a refreshing citrus while having a strong blast of pink pepper to give it quite a bit of spiciness. You have a prominent orange blossom that is freshened up with the citrus so it doesn't feel too heavy, but this definitely feels like a citrus spicy floral. It has a beautiful musky dry down that gives it a lot of femininity without being super overly floral or super sweet. The longevity of this is absolutely incredible, and I think that if you can find any Calvin Klein fragrances at discount stores, they are worth the purchase, and you can usually find this for about $25 to $30 for a bigger size bottle. Once again, we have a masculine citrus fragrance, but I think that this one would be really great for date night in summertime because although it's refreshing, it has a bit of sexiness to it, and that would be Navus from Navitus Perfumes. So in this, you have orange, you have grapefruit, and you have bergamot, so you get a lot of different citruses that are coupled with a pink pepper that give it some spiciness, along with a neroli that give it almost a slightly barbershop type feel, but this has the note of ylang, and ylang is a beautiful tropical floral that is not sharp, yet slightly sweet and buttery, and it's made a bit masculine in the base by cedar and vetiver that give it a dry earthiness, along with a warm white musk that give it a second skin type feel. So although refreshing in the beginning, it dries down to have a little bit of sensuality and definitely fares more on the masculine side. Nothing screams citrus like Tangerine Boy from Phlur. Now this one is another fun one. So you have lemon and ginger and black pepper, so you're getting a tangy spiciness in the beginning, and then you almost have a tangerine juice sort of feel. So it's sweet, but when accompanied with the top note, it balances out to give a sweet and sour yet spicy tangy quality. In the dry down, you have amber and moss, but to me, this isn't a super complex fragrance. It's fun, it's whimsical, it smells like tangerine, but there's not a lot to it. This would be something that you would chuck in your bag and just apply as a no-brainer. Next is going to be a citrus for non-citrus lovers because this would be perfect for entry-level citrus. This is Golden Ticket by Sniff, which is funny because they just came out with Citrus Circus, but I talked about that last week. It smells like a creamsicle, but this one goes under the radar a little bit because although this has bergamot, this is tea forward. So this has black tea and mate, but is very refreshing. So to me, this smells like a pitcher of cold tea that is unsweetened with a whole bunch of citrus in it. And this actually kind of reminds me slightly of like the younger sister of Thé Noir by Le Labo. And you know, I love that fragrance so much. So the tea in this kind of reminds me of Thé Noir, much less rich and smoky. This is more uplifting. So if you're a beginner at citrus fragrances and you want something a little bit herbal, tea-like, very natural and easygoing, I would try Golden Ticket by Sniff. And if you want a citrus that is not going to knock you off of your feet, that's going to be very gentle, very delicate, and very feminine, I would try Citrus 08 from Kayali. This has grapefruit and rhubarb that give it a tartness in the beginning, but it is nicely balanced with some florals. It has a rose that feels like a very young, underripe rose. It doesn't smell like a dark red vintage sort of rose. rose. It's a fresh, small little pink rose, along with a soft musk in the dry down. This is nicely balanced with a little bit of earthiness from some oak moss, but a warmth and a slight nuttiness from tonka bean that's very far off in the background. So if you need a citrus that is girly feminine and very easygoing, that's a no-brainer. That is Citrus 08 from Kayali. So I hope you guys enjoyed today talking about citrus fragrances, and I personally think that they are the best type of fragrances to wear during hot weather because they are very refreshing. Please don't make a drinking game out of how many times I have said refreshing in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure that you tune in next week. I post every Saturday, 10 a.m. PST, and until next week, take care of yourselves, my friends.